Hi, good afternoon from Mariana, Wow Women of Work, for another episode at Wow Voices Speak Volumes. And I'd like you to introduce the wonderful lady, Paola Pavan from New York. How are you, Paola? Welcome.
Hi, I'm very fine, Mariana. Thank you for having me here.
I'm so excited. I was warming up a little bit this morning talking about you, that about the fact that you are away from normally is between the UK and Italy, and I'm so excited to know more about you, what you do, and what you bring into our community. So let's start simply from where you're from, because people that hang out with Italians definitely will understand that your name is Italian name. But what about Pavan? Where are you coming from?
So I'm originally from the Veneto region, specifically from Vicenza. And my actually all my family is still there, and I moved to the US 11 years ago. The funny thing about the US is that when I say my last name, they don't think that I'm Italian because they are used to have these Italian last name that finish with a vowel. And so they're like,
Yeah, what they
really?
think
For
you are
Italian? He looks
more
like Polish. So
Polish, Spanish, maybe. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, my family is in Italy. I moved to the US 11 years ago. I moved for love. So it's kind of strange because at the beginning I never thought that I was going to leave Italy for love. I thought that maybe I was going to leave it for, having a business opportunity. I kind of find both at the end because I think we're going to talk a little about my story, but the background that I had in Italy helped me a lot when I um, emigrate to the
So, how did
US.
you meet your love then in Italy? You met in
No,
Italy.
actually, I met him in New York. It's a very long story. It's a romantic story too. So probably we're going to write a
Next
book
time.
whenever we will have the time. But the I met here in New York. I was 22 years old and I went to do an internship here.
Okay.
And then 10 years later,
Oh,
he came
wow.
to Italy to get me and bring me back to the
Mm,
US.
wow, this is
So this
definitely,
is like super short
yeah,
story,
crazy.
but it's we kept in contact, but we always had some kind of other relationship going on. And then in 2013, 10 years later that we met, he told me, oh, this is a very important anniversary for me. I would like to come to Europe and do like a big trip. If I come to Italy, could you help me with, organizing the trip? And I said to him, 10 years ago, when I was in New York, you made me leave New York as a New Yorker. So if you come to Italy and I can take some day off, I will show you Italy like an Italian. And that's what we did. We spent a week together. And then during the week, he's like, you know what? I was in love with you 10 years ago, and I feel like I'm still in love with you.
Oh, that's so
And
sweet.
and after that, we tried to find a way to try this relationship because the passion was there, the attraction was there, but that doesn't mean that we're very different and we live very different lives. So um he said, do you want me to come to Italy? And I'm like, I don't think you're going to be able to find any job and in his
Hmm.
situation. Probably I could come to the US. So I start like sending resume, and I was in wine already, in the wine sector already for 6 years. So I had some experience. So long story short, in less than a month, I got a visa to come to the US. I got a job and I got a visa, and I moved to New York in Valentine's Day
Hmm.
2014. And then then I worked here. In the meantime, we had this relationship. We saw that the relationship was working, and so we got married and everything, and now we are married 7 years. No,
Oh,
no,
wow.
sorry, no, years,
More.
9 years, and we have our daughter is almost 8.
Fantastic. Anyway, before we go a little bit further down the road, I'd like to know, you were telling me about cultures. When we had a conversation to have this opportunity to chat together today, we were discussing which angle and the way we can serve our wow community to make the best for them, to inspire them, or to educate them. And you said to me, man, and I think what I can bring to the table is the cultural side of myself. And that to me is brilliant, because when we talk about international experience, we bring ourselves, and we are like little gems, even if we are coming from a country, but even as a solo, we are bringing a lot of, to the table. Why I'm saying this, because Italy, everybody thinks about Italy as a unified country, which is, but it's a relatively young. And within our country, we have so many regions, and there is a mixture of cultures. I'm from the south of Italy, you are from the north of Italy, and there are so many things in common, but the way of thinking, the way of living our lives could be very different. So I'm very interested to understand a little bit more about how you bring your unique culture into a state like, USA, and how you can find your dimension, because I think that is really, I found difficult for myself at the time in London. So I'm very intrigued to understand how you found yourself with your culture, which is already a mixture of others, and find your space.
Mm-hmm. So it was a, as everybody, when somebody moved to another country, there's always the cultural shock. And for me, it was on one side not that much. If for the business side, it was not that much, because also where I come from in Italy, we're very hardworking. We think about work, work, work. We try to to be productive as much as we can. And so for the business part, I was pretty fine in the US. I understood the mentality. Of course, there's a lot of differences, and part of my job now, and this job that I'm doing now, came also from the first experience that I had here in the US. When I came into the US, I was working for a wine importer. So they were importing wine from Italy, but all the top management were Italian, but the middle management, the one that really is operative, they were Americans. And most of the time there were a disconnection between the the mentality of doing businesses. So a lot of discussion were just about, how we bridge this Italian mentality with the US mentality, because we do need to sell this product in the US. And funny stuff about my experience in this business is that most of the time, global companies, they have a global marketing and communication strategy, but they always have a separate communication and marketing strategy for the US market. So that's very interesting, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that. What I brought to the table is that when I entered the US, I was here because of my husband. So I was not married with an Italian. And that didn't reinforce my Italianity here. So I don't hang out with Italian that much. I hang out more with American and South American, because my husband is actually from Puerto Rico. So he has also this Latin part. So our family is like a super mix of cultures. And what I like about it is also that my daughter now, she can understand 3 languages. She can speak 2. Spanish is not there yet. But she's so open to all the other cultures, because she comes from a multicultural family. And she knows that we are going to find a way to communicate and to find things in common and things that are different with everybody in this world. So that is something that I think that the multiculturality could be a superpower for us also in the business to understand how to connect with other people that are not out from our culture, but
Yeah.
we are always finding the common ground.
Interesting. And you started this business. I know that you have a background in food and wine and beverage, generally speaking. So and you said there is so much interest in USA. Uh, and what is the experience when we talk about made in Italy? By itself is a brand. We know that. So everybody think, yeah, is it from Italy? So excellence or luxury. This is on paper, but one, because you're doing the marketing for these brands, do you experiment in real life then the acceptance from the audience of this level of excellence, of genuinity, beauty, flavor? So what is the response of the market when there is this meeting of expectation, or sometimes there is something which is a lack in between? What is your experience?
So the experience is, and I'm going to be very honest because I think that if there is somebody that wants to approach the U.S. market, they need to, especially Italians, but also other countries. I can say this for Italians: uh, the Italians are like our product are up to the expectation in terms of the product itself, which means that Americans think that Italian food is better, Italian wine is good, that our fashion is high quality and high style and everything like that. That is something that they value a lot. The excellence of the made in Italy as a product, they value it a lot. What I see and what I bridge also for my clients is the other part of the business. So there's not only the product. We know the marketing mix is not just product, it's promotion, it's publicity, it's like pricing, is like, and especially for the US market, one of the most important thing is the customer service as the business relationship. Like the way you talk with your partner, the way that you bring a strategy on the table. And unfortunately, most of the time, the Italians don't have this strategy, don't have these mindsets. So they craft the product and they are exceptional in the product, but they stop there. They think that just because the product is amazing, they're going to sell. And this is not enough because, especially in the US or also in UK, the competition is global. So
Yeah.
you don't talk,
Yeah, we
you
think.
have a lot of competitors that have decent product, good products, maybe not exceptional, but they have better way of doing business.
Yeah, this is always what I say. Also, I started back in time to do internazionalizzazione of Italian brands into UK markets. And I say, man, I can bring the best mozzarella, I can bring the best tie, I can bring the best shoes. Yes, so what? I mean, we are so proud of our products, so we think that itself, it will sell, which is correct to a point, in the sense that, as you said, when there is no much competition, because like you, definitely you understand that there are so many competitors that work on the excellence of the product. Definitely we have imagination, we have the good raw materials and stuff, but at the end of the day is what is the messaging is about, how you going to position your offer in order to attract the interest of your potential target audience. And sometimes I was saying to myself, in London, even if they do a museum for toilets, they will have everything sold out because they are good with the messaging, are good to promote it, they are good at selling it. Instead, we are having fantastic bags, for example, or sunglasses. They are something very unique. Sometimes we do home and made as well, but we are not able to promote in the way because we think that the product sells by itself. That maybe was back in time when there was no much competition on products, but nowadays we are not competing only on the products, but what are the needs we are meeting? What are the ambitions we are going to meet from the target audience? And that is, as you said, mentality and mindset more than anything. So my question then is, when from your experience, you said then the made in Italy, there is an excellence perceived from the buyers, but I would like to ask you, especially when it comes to food and beverage, because my understanding with your company, you focus on that industry, is correct. What is the most, especially now, the time you are living with the tariffs and stuff? What is the struggle that then Italian companies are suffering for the international market, especially in the US?
Well, unfortunately, as you just said, the fact that there's the possibility, like we have the tariffs now, but we don't know how this is going to evolve. It's slowing down the business. And on that side, I've been honest with you, I was a little upset, disappointed with the Americans, because I thought that they were like the marketing genius, the business genius, and I'm like, they're going to figure this out because the market still wants this product, and they need to find a way to keep this product in the market. So now the situation is that new products are almost impossible for them to enter in the market. But if you are in the market, like yesterday, for example, I went to a trade show for spirits. There was a lot of people, like a lot of attendees, a lot of exhibitors, a lot of Italian exhibitors and international exhibitors. So they are on the same boat as us. Like the whole world now has these 10% tariffs. But and I was talking with the Americans and say, that these products, they're not going anywhere. These bartenders, in case we were talking about spirits, this bartender loves the Italian products, and they use the Italian products in all their cocktails. So we need to find a way to keep them there because the demand is there. So right now, at least in my industry, I saw that most of the conversation are about how we're going to not change the final price, so the final result to the uh, buyer that then is going to use your product in his cocktails, or the wine on the shelf in the wine store. They don't want to touch that price. So they are trying to figure out how to cut and where to optimize the cost chain to make sure that they can tolerate the tariff between the producer and the distribution side. I don't know if this is doable if the tariffs come 50% or 100%, but for the moment, 10% is not a big deal. So we're not going to go and touch the experience of the consumer.
I see. And so let's introduce then a little bit about your agency, and then I will know more about you as a woman in a real life. So you have this agency, OPS, correct?
OPC.
Oh, OPC, sorry. In my mind, it was a C, but yeah. Tell me.
Ortiz is my husband. P. Pavan is my last name, and then C is consulting.
I see.
OPC.
Cool. So where basically it comes from your passion, from your culture. So you guys want to put together your your individual spirit and get together in order to combine the culture and getting into the new culture, which was the US one. What is the concept behind it?
So I didn't give you the one of the other piece of my career here in the US. So when I came, I started working for a wine importer, and I developed a couple of position in this industry. But then in 16, the Italian Trade Commission, basically the Italian government in the US, the branch of the government that helps businesses export in all over the world, and in this case in the US, contacting me through a headhunting agency, and they gave me a position. And I was in the wine and spirits team for the first year under another manager, and then the other manager was supposed to go on retirement, and that's why they got me inside the team, because they saw that my expertise in the industry would have benefit the consulting part that I was going to do in this position. So basically what I was doing in that position was using Italian funds, like government money, to create promotional activities and campaigns for the Italian products to be known and to be bought in the US. And then the other side of my role was to do consulting for Italian companies in any different topic, from the little one, like saying, how do I export? What documents do I need? What is the process? To maybe an already established company that wanted to scale the distribution, or had a specific challenge and they didn't know how to address it. So in 6 years working there, I saw so many cases and so many success and challenges, that when I decided for a family decision that I was going to leave that job, the opening a consulting company and doing what I was mostly already doing came very natural. I asked my husband to join me in the agency for two reasons. One, as I said, it was a family decision. We were thinking maybe of relocating. We were thinking of what are we going to do with our family. So we gave ourselves this opportunity to try to be entrepreneur together. And we were saying, okay, if it works, we're going to have a job that, a business that we are going to bring anywhere in the world. And if it doesn't work, wherever we are going to live as a family, we're going to find a job. But it worked. So it's already 3 years, and my idea for Eddie to be part of this business is that he was bringing another culture in. He was bringing the American culture, but also the South American / Latin / Spanish culture. And so,
yeah, I can see it.
I'm sorry, something's
I am.
going on here.
Yes.
And so I told him that maybe we can expand in South America and in Spain. So that's building the cultures and putting cultures together with the idea of bringing what is good in a culture in a different country.
Mhm. And what is interesting, so basically in this project, you bring together like a melting pot, yourself as a woman, a mother, an entrepreneur, and actually a wife. So what is then the role, the juggling within these four roles you have now?
Well, it takes a lot of organization, and being honest with you, I was not that good in organizing. Like I was good in organizing events and all the things for my work. But in the past, in my previous family, like my family with my parents and my sister, I was a little spoiled in just doing what I needed to do. So either studying or working, etc. I didn't have that many responsibility. And so when I got married and I had the responsibility of being a wife and then being a mother, I said, I need to find a way to do this. So I studied as much as I can. I still try to um, find better ways of organizing my time. But I can tell you that the decision of becoming an entrepreneur was also um, the one of the reasons was also that I wanted to have the flexibility to be able to do everything. And unfortunately, with my previous job, I couldn't because I was out the whole day and coming, basically leaving at 8 in the morning, coming back at 7 at night, and that was not sustainable. Um, the
Absolutely. And
Right now, for
mm,
whatever reason, we decided to put even more responsibility. I know the reason is mainly that as we were saying before we went live, when you mature, when you get a little older, when you understand better the time, and you understand also better that you need to be responsible for all the decision. Before I was a little more like, okay, well, it doesn't matter that much to do research, or let's
figure
just
out.
do whatever the other people do and we're going to be fine. But now the the global politics and the globality of where we are living, how we are living, demands us like polarize the two things. Either you follow everything that is happening and you're like a kind of passive, or you really have to put yourself there and decide kind of every step. So, before I was like, okay, my daughter is going to be, or any family that I know, uh, your kid starts and becomes, gets to 6 years old and he go to school. It's normal. There's no decision there. They're going to
Mhm.
school. We got the decision to say, no, she's not going to school unless we don't find the school that we want. And in that moment, we were not able to find the school that fit our criteria. And so we said, okay, then the only solution is to do homeschooling. And
Mhm.
that happens in many different things. And the more you mature, the more you evolve, you cut the noise, you cut everything that is not important for yourself, for your family first, for your little community, for your enlarged family, your friendship, and then all the other people that you get to
Mhm.
to have a relationship in your life. But it's intentional. It's not, it's like it was intentional that we connected through a webinar, and we kept this conversation going because we saw that there was something there. Right
Absolutely.
now, I don't know about you. Always trying to be nice and friendly with everybody. But if after a little I know that I cannot give anything to you, and I know you're not going to give anything to me, then the conversation is going to
Right.
fade. It's going to.
Absolutely. And this morning I was actually doing a webinar, was talking about win-win and lose-lose. Basically, when you win-win or lose-lose, so both of us we win or both of us lose, we are going to have a long relationship, because if both of us are losing, at the end of the day, we are still there, fun enough.
Mhm.
And also, if we win. Problem is when one is winning and one is losing, and the other way around, means that there's going not to happen anymore. So I think at a point, as you're saying, is a matter of maturity, or experiences, you really realize that it's important to help. I love help others, being generous, but has to be something for me as well. I don't hide myself anymore. Before I was saying I'm doing because I enjoy it, which I was, but long term, this is not sustainable because even a mother, I guess, if your child is abusing all the time, you feel a little bit that your child is taking advantage of you. So you need to even make a little contribution that is making you happy because you feel that you are appreciated. They understand you have a value. So what I mean by this is the fact that in the nowadays world, especially where everything we can get most of the times for free, information for free, tools for free, people take advantage. So my point is that unless both of us are winning, is not fair on the other person if he's more generous or are there to help and yet you are the only one winning is not fair. And I think as women we feel, even personally, more than men sometimes, because when I have this kind of conversation with the other men, forget about it, forget about it. We forget, but we don't forgive, maybe, in a way. And
Well,
tell me, what's your?
no, I was thinking while you were talking about this that sometimes we focus ourselves in the time that we have available. Like, before I was telling you, I'm trying to find good ways to organize myself and my time. But more than time management, right now, I see that what we need to manage is our energy and our mood, so as you were saying, also for the kids, they need to understand that they cannot always ask attention. They can always, you cannot always give energy, because then you're going to be depleted and you're not going to function anymore in anything, in the work, in the life, and in the family life. So that's something that and especially when we are getting older, the level energy is definitely going down. So you need to really um use your energy properly. And yes, I'm going still to cheer on you. Yes, I'm going to give as much energy that I can to you, but it's going to be for more limited time, because if I cannot recharge myself, then I will never going to be able to give you the energy again.
Absolutely, because
So
we are
this
talking about.
win-win, lose-lose is what you're, seeing in another perspective, but that's what it is. It's not, oh, I'm jealous of you winning, so I'm not giving you my energy anymore. That's not the point. The point is that if it's not mutual, then I'm going to finish my energy, and then I'm not going to be able to help anybody else, and
To
me
absolutely
specifically
agree.
also.
Because we are not talking about only physical energy, we are talking about emotional energy. That is the chemistry that if you are bringing me down, I'm not able to give you back because it's from an empty cup. So you can't drink from an empty cup. That means that if there is no energy, I can't give you any energy anymore because it's not there anymore. And I think for as women, our energy is very much emotional more than physical, and especially because of we were talking about so different acts, acting as a wife, as an entrepreneur, as a mother. I'm not saying that men are not doing that, but in terms of energy connection, when I say energy is the connection we got with ourselves, with the other people, definitely can be strained if it's not recharged with a good energy. So that's the exchange, in the sense that of the win-win is also a sort of energy. Lose is low energy. Win-win is high energy for both, and that is
Mhm.
definitely something that I think most of the time we as women we need to learn to control a little bit more in order to preserve our own energy and our good spirit, I would say, in a way.
Yeah, and that's actually a huge topic, and that's a topic that I'm studying, because I think, I don't know, about you and your experience or the experience of all the other guests. But unfortunately, when a woman wants to be an entrepreneur or a businesswoman or having a career, they tend to put up the masculine energy and getting try to raise to the same level as the all the other men that are around you, because most of the time you are a minority in a workplace, or especially in a higher position. And so that was a problem for me, and still is a problem, because I feel like it's difficult sometimes to switch for me between the masculine side that I have in the business and the feminine side that I should have with my husband and with my daughter. And actually, the fact that my husband is in the business with me is helping me trying to get this balance. He's actually calling me out. It's like, cut this, man,
Yeah,
manpower.
yeah.
Let's find a way to talk, me and you, because we are a couple and we are business partners. So don't come to me and and pretend you are the boss, like you were doing if you were in another business. And that is something that when you have been like 15 years, 20 years behaving like that in the business, in your business life, that is a little difficult
Hmm.
to to release. But
Absolutely.
that's also the kind of energy that as women we can bring in the business, and we should bring more. Unfortunately, I see a lot of women acting as men in the
Hmm.
business.
Hmm. Yeah,
In the
because
business.
of the fact that, as you said, they need to raise the voice in the sense of show a power, physical power, so get across just for the survival mode, and this is not fair on us. In case we need to bring out something which is not natural to us, but if it's natural, good for them. If not, we don't need to change our nature to please. But as you said, it's a problem. It's not easy sometimes to for the way how I approach things. We can get ignored most of the time, so we are seen like the ones that are giving trouble, that we complaining instead of take action. So
Mm.
that, as you said, is a big argument, and maybe we can discuss this in different time. So, unfortunately, I don't know why, but from the platform, I can't see the comments. I'd love to share, but I will read out. We have some comments from Blueberry Martin, so I think it's someone that knows you. Paul's journey is truly inspiring, balancing entrepreneurship and family while empowering women to thrive, shows what strong leadership looks like. What strategies has she found most effective in guiding others towards financial independence? I think it's a
Mhm.
question. It's amazing how these experiences create such rich stories for the community to learn from. Empowerment. So I don't know if you want to share any thoughts or you want to comment this comment.
So I think that women needs to be like try to have their role in the family
Hmm.
first, like if they have a family. Of course, right now I'm talking with for my experience. So
Yeah.
if you have a family or even just a couple, as we just said, you cannot forget that you are in a couple, first of all, like, because I at the beginning I was forgetting it too, and we had a lot of discussion with my husband, because luckily or unluckily in this sense, he comes from a Latin background, so he's very passionate, and they have this like uh a warm heart. So he was like, you cannot neglect this relationship because of your career. And when I got my daughter, it was even more like, you cannot neglect me and your daughter for your career. So that's where what I said, that we had a family decision, and we decided that we were going to try to be entrepreneurs, because we thought that that could fit our family. So my one of the strategy is definitely to come together as a family and understanding what is the strategy, what you can sacrifice, how long you can sacrifice in case you are both doing like 9 to 5 job, or even more, like if you're building your career. You need to be strategically planning for the good of your family. When we decided to become entrepreneurs, then there was a lot of other discussion on how to do this, but as long as you are on the same page, you can figure this out. And I have people that I know, because doing homeschooling, I got into the homeschooling community, that are decided who is going to take care of the education of the kids. And sometimes you also, in the future, we will have probably tutors for Sophia, because it's getting more and more difficult. And and sometimes I'm not a teacher, so and plus, I don't know if you had any experience like that, but it's difficult sometimes for the kids to learn from the parents. I remember that my father was trying to teach me how to ski, and I had a meltdown, and I was like probably 6, 7 years, and I had a meltdown in the middle of the slope, because he was trying to teach me, and I was like struggling. And then he said, "Okay, that's it. We need to have a ski instructor. I cannot teach you." So that is something common. Every day we have some struggle about this, because I didn't study all the psychology and all the tricks, the how to teach. But
Mhm.
we know as a family that this is what we want, and my daughter understand that too, even if she's little. And
Mhm.
that's the most important thing of empowering the family, and and deciding how the family is going to do this together.
Brilliant. So before we close, I would like to ask you, actually tell us what would be the message of women that they want to explore themselves through an experience abroad. So how long you been away for? You said from Italy now altogether?
11 years.
11 years. So, and there was a big difference from 11 years to now. So I think the
Yeah.
world has changed completely.
Yeah.
But what would be, from your experience, the one thing you would suggest to encourage women that have an ambition to go abroad, and what would they should bring with them in their baggage, especially from Italy?
Okay, well, my moving to the US was kind of the second time I start from scratch, because before I moved to Tuscany. So I left my family and I went to Tuscany for business. So definitely, I always say you have to keep at least one um i- solid point in your life when you decide to change everything else. In that case was the business. In the case of moving to the US, it was the relationship that I wanted to be with my husband. And one other thing in the US, because that was very scary at the beginning, because I knew that I've been in New York before, and I knew that I was going to be eaten by the city if I was not strong enough. And when I came the first time when I was 22, I wanted to stay, but I said to myself, I'm not strong enough to live in this city. I come from a too small town. I have just too small mentality. I have to grow, because before I can
Yeah,
um,
be
face
very
this
overwhelming,
big
as you said, eating you. Yeah.
this but you can do steps, and definitely you have to keep one or 2 points straight in your life. So when I came to the US, I didn't know if my relationship with my husband was going to work. Like, you never know when you enter in a relationship. So I told him, I'm going to come if I find something that is in my career, that I can advance in my career, because at least I'm going to have one point in my life that is going to be the same. It's going to be a kind of a comfort zone, because I'm going to do the same job. I don't want to change career and start from scratch. My career is going to be too much. So the thing is, when you grow yourself first before you can move to another country, and before you can get yourself, not even moving in another country, but just get yourself in a bigger challenge than what you think you can handle, is that you need to build yourself and to have something that you can grab and hold on. If everything else is not going the way you are hoping, at least you have these few things inside you and outside you that can help you go through.
Yeah, because
I
I
don't know if
think
it was the experiences for you too, but that was my experience. I always, and then as soon as you start this experience, you need to network, like create your own community, create your own, the strength. I have a friend that is actually a podcaster. I was a guest in her podcast. She was the first person that I met in the US, and
oh,
she's still my go-to person most of the time. She's called Wilka. She was the when I moved to the US, I didn't move with my husband immediately. I decided to live by myself, and I moved to a shared house. And she was the owner of the house, and she was really treating, there were mainly students from all over the world. And she was like, not a mom because she was our age, but like the best friend that you could get. And that was really, really helpful.
yeah, because I think from our experiences, sometimes we think that when we move to a new place is a destination, but actually it starts a different journey. It's a journey, first of all, within yourself. So you go to a new destination, and actually you rediscover yourself, because when you are in your own country, where you're coming from, or your own city, even if it's within the same country, when you change the place, you it's a discovery of the place itself, but definitely you, how I fit into this, or how do I have to adapt myself, or what I need to learn in order to survive this place, because it's a survival mode when you change an environment. So when I
Yeah.
speak with people, and sometimes I say, yeah, because you've been to London, it's not easier because you go in a place where you think there is more opportunities. Yeah, there's more opportunity, but you need to grab them, you need to earn them, you need to see them. Sometimes you don't, which is fine, will come the next time. But the point I want to make is that when we move, we think that we move to a destination that is the last destination. It's instead, first of all, a discovery, and then another destination will come through, which is no longer the place where you stay, but actually the place within yourself that you want to create. And I think is fascinating when you are abroad, because I explore myself every day, and maybe that's the thing that keeps me going. Otherwise I will kill
No, we
myself.
are evolving. We are all evolving. And actually, you know what is funny? You made me think of something. When I moved to Tuscany and I had a problem with the job that I had there, and I had to decide if I wanted to stay there and find another job there, or going back to where my family and, or my friends are. And my friends were like, come back, and I'm like, no, why? Like, and I said to myself, because being honest, I was next to the sea, like the place where I was living, it was amazing. I had new friends there. And I'm like, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't feel like if I left, it was because I could leave. Like, I was able to give myself the permission to say, that can stay behind and I need to move forward. And so I was feeling like, no, I cannot go back. And so I said, I'm going to move from here if I find a place that is better than this. And then my husband came and he brought me to New York. And I'm like, well, maybe I move to New York. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant, very exciting. So, I would like you to leave with one word. What could it be in your life now? The one that is very close to your heart that you want to nurture for you to get to the next level? Because I know you want something for the next level, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, also in this conversation that we had, I probably will choose intentionality, like really decide, really put my mind, really do everything that I have to do with my mind there. And it has been a struggle. I have my husband always say, be here now. He's a little older than me. He probably, he's wiser than me somehow. He had a different type of life, very more difficult than I had. So now it's like laying back a little, like saying, I learned my lesson. I know how to behave, etc. I know how to get my decision. He was much more intentional. That he was so intentional that he came to Italy 10 years later to get me. So,
Mm,
and he said that he decided that the first time he saw me, he decided that I was going to be his wife when he first saw me.
so
So it took
sweet.
him 10 years. I'm not that patient, but I'm learning. The one thing that I suggest in everybody is to be more intentional, because
I
we
love
are
it.
getting too much on the,
Mm.
like following the wind, and it's not going to take us anywhere, unfortunately. I tried. It didn't take me anywhere. It
I
didn't take me where I wanted to be.
I totally get it. All right. Thank you very much, Paola. Where are you? I lost you. I wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you very much, Mariana. I think that you are doing a great job for, giving opportunity to your audience to see experience from other people, to get these um, little knowledge nuggets from other people. It's all about experience. Like most of the time when I read a book, I always try to see like a real case, because then it shows me that it can be done. And if it's too theoric, I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, but is it going to
far from
be,
you.
is it doable? Is it, can I be
Exactly.
successful in doing this? So that's the beauty of looking for people that are going to share their experience, because then you will see that it can be done.
Thank you, Paola. Really appreciate your encouragement and your words. And thank you for being here. Definitely, I'm sure we are going to organize another chat talking about Italian excellence, how you help your beautiful small businesses coming from Italy, which, because I think is hard for them. And explore a market like a USA need brave people and Italians like yourself, proud of the origins and understanding the culture, because it's not the product, it's the culture that we are promoting. Just the products, the wrap up, as we said, but is a real essence of being Italians. And I think what we're trying to do abroad is to bring what we are passionate about. And yeah, we need experts like you to find a way how we can promote ourselves. So thank you for what you're doing for our country and also for our hard worker entrepreneurs in Italy. So looking forward to see you next time. And for the meantime, I really thank you. And I thank everybody for watching our episode of Wow Voices Speak Volumes. And I really would love to hear more voices. So feel free to reach out and we can arrange more interviews for you to speak your voice. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'll see you soon. Ciao, Paola. Take care.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Bye.